Welcome to the Homeschool Show for North Carolinians for Home Education. Our goal is to help you homeschool with confidence and joy. I'm your host, Matthew McDill. As usual, we'll start off the show with some homeschool news. We have some important deadlines coming up that you're going to want to hear about. And then we're going to have homeschool conversations. And today we're going to continue to celebrate our 40th anniversary by having another conversation with a homeschool pioneer. With a couple of homeschool pioneers, Walt and Sandi Goforth. They were some of the first NCHE board members and have memories from the very first years of homeschooling in North Carolina legally. So we'll look forward to that. Then we'll have some wisdom from the Word. And today we're going to talk about the parents' amazing opportunity to build a godly heritage, to set the trajectory of the heritage for our children and our grandchildren. Then we're going to have Homeschool Helps with Amanda, and she's going to begin a brand new series on homeschooling different ages. And so guess where we're going to start? We're going to start with preschool. All right, so heading into homeschool news, the first very important deadline I want to let you know that is coming up this week is on Thursday, February the 29th, and that is the end of early bird registration for the Thrive Homeschool Conference. The conference will be happening in Winston-Salem at the Benton Convention Center, May 23rd through the 25th. This is a highlight of a year, one of the most important things that it is the most important thing that happens regard to homeschooling on a statewide scale. So you're going to check this out, but if you're going to go, you might as well get the early bird pricing. So go to nche.com/thrive and check out those early bird prices. And that's before Thursday. Another interesting thing that's going to happen, I don't think this has ever happened before, and that is we're going to have a special class at the homeschool conference in the morning of the Thursday that it begins. It's called Fabulous Fossils Class. This is an opportunity to have hands-on learning with real fossils. Join creation paleontologist Dr. Marcus Ross for an expert-led journey through the fossil record. With authentic fossil specimens, you will explore what fossils are and how they form, learn to identify various fossil plants and animals, and discover how biblical history integrates with the geologic record. Dr. Ross is a conference speaker and with Cornerstone Education Supply, a conference vendor. This class will be on Thursday morning, May 23rd at the Thrive Conference. This part has its own registration, and so you'll want to go again to nche.com/thrive, and under the happenings list, you'll find the Fabulous Fossils class and be able to sign up there. Okay, another deadline that's coming up is for the North Carolina Transportation Museum field trip. The field trip is on March 8th, and it's in Spencer, North Carolina, and it's going to be Wings and Wheels Day. This is a really special place. I've taken my family there, and we had such a great time a few years back. But the deadline to pre-register is March the 5th, so you have about a week left to sign up for that if you would like to. One more thing is I want to mention to homeschool dads that we're trying to connect with you and support you. And you can go to our brand new page, nche.com/dads. And we have a survey there. We'd like to hear from you and know how we can serve you and get connected with you as dads. So if you'll go check that out, we will love to get connected with you. Okay, heading into homeschool conversations. This is going to be my interview with Walt and Sandi Goforth. They are pioneer homeschoolers in North Carolina. They were a part of the establishment of NCHE. They were among the first homeschoolers and were some of those who watched the North Carolina Supreme Court hearing on homeschooling. So it's amazing to talk to them as we celebrate our 40th anniversary this year of North Carolinians for Home Education. So I hope you'll be encouraged by this conversation. Let's check it out. We are going to continue our conversations with some of the very first homeschoolers in North Carolina, especially with related to NCHE. And we have Walt and Sandi Goforth to talk to today. How are you guys doing?
Great.
Good.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking the time. And we'll just go ahead and tell a little bit of the surprising history that we went to church together in Boone many years ago. And so we knew each other from that and we didn't have any idea our paths would cross in this way again. So just tell me this, how did you decide to homeschool in the first place? And how did you get started?
I was a teacher and taught at a Christian school in High Point, and we had moved to Winston, so we were living in Winston-Salem, and my best friend, co-teacher in first grade from High Point, just wrote me a letter and said, I'm jumping off a cliff. I've decided to homeschool. We both got pregnant with our kids at the same time. We had 2 children
Hmm.
born about the same time. And she said, I really would like you to listen to this program. And she sent me to Focus on the Family to the interview with the Moores, Raymond and Dorothy Moore. And so I listened to the program, but I put the letter in a drawer. The reason why I didn't show it to Walt is because it sounded a little crazy to me, and I thought he might go for it. I don't know why, but I waited a long time, and we put our oldest daughter in kindergarten. So when she was in kindergarten, we had already done 4-year kindergarten, so pre-kindergarten with her, and we started to see that she learned differently. We knew she was brilliant, off the charts brilliant, but we saw that
Mm.
she was doing differently and um, would easily get distracted. And uh, one day I took her lunch to school. She was doing some sort of an art project out in the hall, the only one. And she had her artwork on the floor, a big piece of paper on the floor. So she was on the floor doing her work. Well, I pulled that letter out of the drawer and I showed that letter to Walt. And he said, maybe this is what our Jessica needs. So we decided to pull her out of kindergarten, and it was a big deal. And so we got an appointment to go in and talk to the teachers, and we basically said, we've decided. It wasn't, what do you think? Because we knew that this was going to be a big deal. So we said, we've decided to pull our daughter out of kindergarten and teach her at home. And it was, oh my goodness. That ensued a lot of crazy events over the next year.
It was illegal to homeschool altogether. There's a guy got arrested for homeschooling
Hmm.
that we knew. And so he ended up not going to jail. But they were going to put him in
Hmm.
jail, or either he had to put his kids in school or go to jail.
But it went to the Supreme Court. So
Yeah,
when we
Del Conte decision.
the Del Conte, it was the Del Contes. Okay, so the Del Contes we didn't know, but they were the case. It was a really long deliberated case by the Supreme Court. And during that time, we got hooked up, and I'm not sure exactly the connection, but there was an underground connection at the Winston-Salem Library.
Hmm.
So people would go up to the front desk and they would say, can you, here's my name and number. Would you give my name and number to somebody who is homeschooling? And
Okay.
that's how we got involved with people there.
The secret society.
Our secret society. And the kindergarten teachers were very upset. They thought we were really harming our daughter.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was very strange. But then we
Hmm.
began to figure out how to do it legally. They weren't arresting people, but they were investigating. We found out some people were actually able to do it through a Christian school as a covering for them. So we
Hmm.
looked into that.
We talked to our
And
pastor. His name was Mark Courts, and we talked to him. And he said, well, they're not going to arrest you. We're going to have 2 desks that are your desk here. It was 2 with Josh too.
at our church school.
Yeah, at our church school. And he said, if they give you any trouble, have them talk to me.
By that time, we brought our other kindergartner home. So we were homeschooling both of the kids. And as a first grader, our little girl said, now we are going to do this the rest of our lives, right? We got a lot of hoops to jump through to do that. But we were then challenged by the school board to just start our own private school in our home.
With another couple. It ended up having to be at least students that weren't in your family.
2 students had to be not in your family.
Yeah.
So we had another family.
The Gobles.
Yeah, and we called our school Windworth Valley School, and we had to have some sort of logo or heading for stationery. We did all that, and had to have inspections by the city. You
had to have a sprinkler system in your house. They were telling us and all this stuff if you're cool. And we
fire exit.
Male and female bathrooms.
Yeah. We may be giving too much detail though.
Yeah, that's true.
No, but I think that's amazing for people now to realize the extent to which parents were going through and going to be able to do this, because today it's quite easy to homeschool in North Carolina, and there are many resources and many communities to be a part of. But those first generations were very committed to doing it. All right, it's time for some wisdom from the Word, and today I'm thinking of a story that my parents told me about when they met in college and when they got married. Both of them were very young, 19 and 20, and they met in a small college in Texas. And one of the things that was interesting about their marriage is that they both had come from very difficult home situations. In fact, both of my grandpas were alcoholics. And when they left to go to college, it was a little bit of escape. And they found each other and just decided to start their home very early. Now, what's amazing about this is that my mom and dad decided together that they were going to establish a new heritage for their family. In other words, they did not receive necessarily from their parents, especially from their fathers, a heritage of faith that was passed down to them. And they said, we're going to do things differently now. We're going to start a new trajectory of faith for our family, for our kids, and for our grandkids. And I benefited from that. And my children benefit from that. As I talk to lots of parents and lots of people today, I hear that most people do not feel like they have been discipled. And what I mean by discipled is that someone came along and intentionally trained and taught another how to follow Jesus. And if you ask most people, they would say, I wasn't discipled, intentionally trained and taught. And so we have a lot of parents today who want to disciple their kids, want to help their kids follow Jesus. However, they weren't discipled, and even now, maybe they haven't been discipled. And so now that it's their turn, they're a little bit of a loss to do it. And so here's what I want to encourage you today, and that is you as parents have an opportunity to mark a new beginning for your heritage, for your family line. And that is, we're going to start a trajectory of faith. You know, I think of Colossians chapter 1, verse 28, which says, him we proclaim, and that's referring to Christ. Christ we proclaim, warning everyone and teaching everyone with all wisdom, that we may present everyone mature in Christ. So this is what discipleship is. Intentionally warning and teaching so that someone can be mature in Christ. And that is our goal as Christian parents, is to present our children mature in Christ. And so I want to encourage you that even if you're not sure how to do that, even if you're not sure and you weren't discipled, that you have the opportunity to change that direction. And there's a lot of resources out there. There are so many ways to find out what it means to follow Jesus and how to teach others. And I would encourage you to find those resources and to find someone, even now, as a parent, to mentor you and to teach you and show you how to follow Jesus. But you've probably learned by now, and it's time to pass that on to your children. So don't lose heart if you're not drawing from some rich heritage. You can do it, and this is your calling and responsibility. And of course, even if you are coming from a rich heritage, what a privilege it is to continue to pass it on, right? This is our responsibility to keep the line going in helping our kids follow Jesus.
Welcome to Homeschool Helps with Amanda. I'm Amanda Wares, Homeschool Helps Director with NCHE. So today and for the next several weeks, the next several segments, we are going to talk about specific tips for homeschooling different age groups. So this week we're going to start with preschool. We're going to move on to elementary, then middle, then high school, and then the last one will be tips for combining ages. If you have, like I did, at one point I had a high school student, a middle school student, an elementary school student, and a preschool student all at the same time. So that can have its own unique challenges, but we are going to get to that. Today we're going to start with preschool. And I don't know if you have experienced this, but when my babies, who are now not babies anymore, but when they were little, the questions and the pressure and the expectations started super early of, I think my oldest daughter was maybe 1, and people would ask me, oh, where's she going for preschool? Or when are you sending her to preschool? And I wasn't, but I did get those questions all the time. And it did not stop. Even when we were officially homeschooling and the oldest was school age, those questions did not stop for the younger. So maybe you're getting those kinds of questions as well. And that would be my first tip for you. Ignore. Let go of that pressure. Let go of that expectation that automatically kids have to go to preschool in order to learn and develop the way that they're supposed to. That is just not true. You are your child's very best teacher. You are the best one to teach them what they need to know to experience this really special, unique time in their life as preschool, where they're just learning and growing so much. They're like sponges. They learn everything. They learn from all of their experiences. And really, going to a place and to be taught by a professional is really just not necessary for that preschooler to learn what they're supposed to. Now, there are legitimate reasons why people send their kids to preschool, but I'm just saying, if you're feeling pressure, if you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling people keep asking you and you really don't want to, let it go. I give you permission. I empower you. You are your child's best teacher. Now, other tips. Number 1, read, 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 read. Read to your child. Read to your children. This is not just true of preschool. This is true of all ages. I still read to my 14-year-old very often, if not daily. And I think it's super important for all ages for so many reasons, but especially for preschool. It is so important for developing vocabulary and a lot of those pre-reading skills, reading comprehension, listening, processing, all of that, not to mention what they're learning from the stories that you're reading to them. It's just really important. And relational, it's really important. Being able to sit and listen, really important. That developing that skill. Now, let me just tell you, different ages, different personalities, different temperaments may be able or desire to sit and attend longer than others. I read, especially my oldest son, I have vivid memories of reading to him, and he would sit a little bit and then he would get down on the floor and play. And I would keep reading, it's fine. Or he would, hang off the couch upside down, whatever it was. But that doesn't mean he wasn't listening and learning. It was still such an important time. So I cannot stress that enough. That is super important. Beyond that, don't feel pressure, whether internal or external, to have some sort of structured school type experience for your preschooler. It's really, again, not necessary, not according to a lot of people, not even optimal. They are learning. They are learning so much every day. Take them with you. Go to the grocery store and to the post office, and as you run your errands, whatever, go to the park, go to the library. There's so many opportunities for your preschooler that you don't even have to provide. It just will happen naturally. So I encourage you, most of all, let them be kids, let them be little. They're little for such a short time. And especially in our world today, it seems like kids are pushed to grow up faster and faster. So, especially in this preschool time, one, don't feel pressure to send them to preschool. Read, 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 read. Let them be little. Let them experience life. They will learn and grow just by you doing that. Now, if you have a child like my third, who is a younger sibling, obviously, of two older siblings who were doing school every day, with me, and she desperately wanted to do school like her older siblings. If you have somebody like that who so badly wants a workbook or something like her older siblings, that's fine. Follow their lead educationally, follow their lead. My little one, I did get her some little workbooks that had kind of some pre-reading, like tracing and cutting, different activities in there. There are some sweet workbooks out there that are designed specifically for that. There's nothing wrong with that either. I'm just saying, don't feel pressure, internal or external, to provide some sort of structured educational experience for your preschooler. They are learning. They are. You would have to try really hard. I don't even think even then you could stop them from learning. So really, just let them play, read to them, experience life together, and enjoy. It's such a wonderful time. I really hope that helps today. See you next time.
As usual, we're so grateful that you took the time to join us this week. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a topic you'd like us to talk about, you can write us at the Homeschool Show at nche.com and give us your feedback and ideas. Maybe some of the segments today you think especially would be interesting to your family and friends or others who are homeschooling. Please share it with them. And until next week, continue to homeschool with confidence and joy.